All right, today we're jumping into two of the most powerful stories from the Gospel of John, and we're going to look at them not just as famous miracles, but as these incredibly smart, high-stakes encounters that teach us so much about justice, how we see the world, and what it really means to see.
I mean, what a line, right? It's echoed through the centuries, a challenge thrown down in a life-or-death moment. But to really feel the weight of it, you have to get the context. This was never just about a woman's sin. This was a perfectly laid trap.
So let's really picture the scene here. You've got the religious leaders, the scribes and Pharisees, and they drag this woman, caught in the act of adultery, right in front of Jesus. But their goal? It wasn't justice for her. Not at all. It was to put him in a corner he couldn't get out of.
And this is just how clever the trap was. It was a lose-lose situation. I mean, think about it. If he says, yep, stone her, he completely betrays his own message of compassion and he'd lose the crowd. But if he says, no, let her go, they've got him. They can accuse him of defying the sacred law of Moses, which was a huge deal. It was a political and theological checkmate. There was no right answer.
So, and this is the absolute key, this whole public shaming, it had nothing to do with morality or justice. It was a power play, a calculated political move designed to trip Jesus up and destroy his credibility. The woman, she was just a pawn in their game.
So faced with this impossible choice, what does Jesus do? He does something nobody could have predicted. He doesn't get into a legal debate. He doesn't yell back. He completely flips the script with this one simple, quiet action.
Okay, let's break this down because it's brilliant. First, he just stays silent. That silence is so disarming, right? It just sucks all the energy out of their angry accusations. Then he stands up and delivers that incredible line. He doesn't get rid of the law, he turns it inward. He basically forces every single person in that crowd to stop judging her and start judging themselves. And then he just crouches down and starts writing again, giving them the quiet space to let that sink in.
And what happens in that moment is this profound shift. Jesus shows them that true justice, well, it's not a weapon you use to punish other people. It's a mirror you have to hold up to yourself first. The whole focus moves from punishing the sinner to examining your own heart.
So what's the result? The mob mentality just dissolves. One by one, starting with the oldest guys, they drop their stones and walk away. You know, the weight of their own conscience became way heavier than the rocks they were holding. The trap wasn't just broken, it was totally dismantled by the power of self-reflection.
Now get this, immediately after this whole intense scene, Jesus makes this massive declaration. He says, I am the light of the world. And that is not a random change of subject. It's the perfect link. He has literally just shone a light into the darkest corners of their hearts. And now he's about to bring a totally different kind of light to someone living in literal darkness.
And this theme of light versus dark just keeps right on going into the very next story, where we meet a man who was born blind. And guess what? Once again, the people around Jesus immediately try to make it about sin, setting up another little theological trap.
You see the pattern here, right? Just like with the woman, the immediate reaction is to find someone to blame. The disciples are just repeating what everyone believed back then. If you're suffering, it must be because someone sinned. They're looking for a simple cause and effect, someone to point the finger at.
And again, Jesus just completely rejects their question. He refuses to play the blame game. He reframes this man's entire life. It's not a punishment for something in the past, he says. It's an opportunity for God's glory to be revealed, right here, right now. I mean, that is a radically different way of looking at things.
So Jesus heals the man, gives him physical sight, but you know, the story is far from over. Because what this miracle really does is set up this incredible contrast, this difference between seeing with your eyes and seeing with your soul.
And this is the great irony of the story. The man who is born blind starts to see on two different levels. First, he sees the physical world, and it's amazing. But then he gains spiritual sight by recognizing Jesus for who he is. But the Pharisees, the religious leaders who could see perfectly fine, they're the ones who are truly blind. They are so trapped in their own rules, their own certainty, that they can't see the light of the world standing right in front of them.
So when you put these two stories together, they lead us to this one central, powerful question that the Gospel of John is asking all of us. Who is it that can really see, and who is truly blind? This condition, it's called spiritual blindness, or Ungjukmingin in Korean. And it's not about being ignorant. I mean, the Pharisees knew the scriptures backwards and forwards. It's a blindness of the heart. It's the tragedy of being able to quote the rule book, but completely missing the whole point, which is mercy and love and humanity.
So here's the bottom line. In both of these stories, the real tragedy isn't the woman's sin or the man's blindness. The greatest tragedy, the greatest blindness, is being so sure you're right, so trapped in your own judgment that you are standing in the presence of the light of the world and you just can't see it.
And that really leaves us with a challenging question for ourselves, doesn't it? If the Pharisees were blinded by their roles and our need to blame, what blinds us? To really truly see the light, what are the things, our own prejudices, our judgments, our easy answers, that maybe we need to be willing to stop looking at?